Hi, YouTuber movies have developed a weird reputation over the years. I feel like they've developed very similarly to that of video game movies. On one hand, people are really excited to see something they really like on the big screen. On the other hand, YouTube videos and video games are very much not movies and require very different skill sets. As a result, when these get the chance to be adapted to film, the homunculus abomination that gets created tends to be kind of a hard watch. But time has been marching on, people have continued to refine their craft, and I think the reputation for video game movies is very slowly shifting. We've had stuff like Mario and Sonic that have been big box office successes, and recently, YouTuber movies have finally started following suit with Markiplier's Iron Lung. This was the first YouTuber movie that really broke into mainstream and garnered some popularity, but way more importantly to Hollywood, it made a lot of money. I'll talk a little bit about Iron Lung later, but to celebrate its success, today I wanted to go back and watch some old YouTuber movies that walked or attempted to walk so that Iron Lung could run. So let's start with, oh my god, stop, shut up! This is Fred. If you've been blessed with not knowing who Fred is up until this point, you've kind of already seen everything there is to see about him. He was a loud kid who did quirky, random things. Did I mention he's loud? Unfortunately, this is a bit of foreshadowing of what's to come because being loud was a hallmark of early YouTube. Back then, no one had any idea what they were doing, and most people over 30 only used YouTube to watch cat videos, so being loud was like a cheat code to get a ton of views from younger audiences. Apparently, it was so effective, you could actually make a whole movie about it. Fred the movie starts with us being introduced to the titular Fred. In most movies, maybe you'd get introduced to the character's day-to-day life, a little basic stuff here and there, you know, warm yourself up to the universe. We don't get that in Fred. In Fred, the movie just starts with a cold open of Fred stalking a young woman. Now, I have to admit, I was not well versed in Fred lore before this, so I was deeply disturbed to find out that this entire movie is just about Fred stalking his neighbor Judy. The entire opening shot is just him following her home while trying to hide in extremely obvious ways. Lucky for Fred, though, it does appear that he's stalking either the dumbest person on the planet or Helen Keller, because neither Judy or her mom notice at all. I know this is a nitpick already. How is Fred following them? They are in a car, and yet there are multiple scenes where the car drives past Fred, and then in the next shot, he's in front of the car again. Is Fred faster than a car? Anyways, all of this concludes with us learning that Judy is actually Fred's next door neighbor. So I don't know what the disguises were for. He probably could have just driven behind her and that would have actually been completely normal and acceptable. That's fine. Fred then proceeds to spend like the next 20 minutes of the movie just trying to figure out a way to go over to Judy's house and ask her to sing with him. However, he can't, due to his neighbor Kevin. When we see these two interact, we start to get a little glimpse of why Fred might be the way that he is. Because Kevin and everyone else in this movie is so mean to Fred.
Hey, Figglehorn, where are you going? Huh?
None of your business, Kevin.
Oh, okay, what are you going to Judy's house for a little play date, huh? Are you guys gonna do
From Kevin's perspective, Fred is just trying to go talk to Judy. That shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Now, from our perspective, we know that Kevin is probably saving Judy from being on a milk carton tomorrow, but he doesn't know that. He's just being a dick. So Fred tries a variety of wacky hijinks to sneak over to Judy's house without Kevin noticing. He digs a hole, he dresses up as a lady, he does other stuff, and during this, we get to learn just how fucked up Fred's life is. Fred is a deeply troubled child. We learn that Fred's dad left when he was little, his mom hates his voice, and his best friend died when he was a child. I'm starting to feel bad for Fred. Can someone please take him to therapy? But Fred doesn't go to therapy. Instead, he learns that Judy is moving away, and he handles it really well. Never mind about feeling bad for Fred. I am now deeply afraid of him and very scared of what he's capable of. If this is what he does when he finds out his crush is moving, what's he gonna do if someone breaks up with him? Rip them to shreds in a manic frenzy? I think Judy's parents might have saved her life by moving away. Unfortunately, Fred's mom knows where Judy moved to and decides to tell Fred. Once he learns this, he just immediately packs his things and starts heading right to Judy's house. What is he gonna do? I'm not sure, but at this point, I'm very scared of what it might be. Because Fred is entirely incompetent, rather than taking the bus to Judy's house, he somehow ends up at the public pool where we meet his neighbor Bertha. Bertha is the only person in this movie who treats Fred like a human being. They talk for a bit, she buries Fred in sand in like a fun way, but wait, what's that? Is that Judy drowning? Oh my god, someone needs to help her! Wait, is that Kevin? Nah, I'm just playing. None of that was real. Fred has vivid hallucinations. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but Fred seems to have some type of severe mental illness that's causing him to have vivid, lifelike hallucinations. Yeah, I've been glossing over these because they're basically incoherent most of the time, but Fred has had many of these hallucinations throughout the movie so far. He's hallucinated about John Cena being his dad and Judy falling in love with him like 15 times at this point. There's an entire character in this movie who is just one of Fred's hallucinations. Please get Fred medical assistance immediately. Fred's hallucinations feel like they take up the majority of the runtime. They did the exact same thing they did with the pool sequence like 3 other times, like pretty much copy-pasted. They are very repetitive and boring, so I'm gonna skip to the good part, where Fred finally gets to Judy's house. And what he finds will shock you to your very core. That's right, Judy is having a housewarming party. And she didn't even invite Fred, just because he was stalking her. It's like a guy can't even follow a girl home anymore. Luckily though, Fred has matured a lot by this point in the movie, and he handles the rejection really well. I lied, Fred didn't handle it well, and now there's a viral video going around of him looking like an idiot. See, if I was in this situation, I would just move towns or hang myself. But Fred, he doesn't do that. He's one tough cookie. Instead, Fred decides to hold a party that's even cooler than Judy's, and no one's invited. Yeah, his actual plan is to host a fake party with Bertha, and then record a bunch of videos that make it look like it was a really cool party, so everyone at school is jealous. And it works. There are only 2 people's faces ever shown in these videos, and those are really obviously mannequins in the background. And yet not a single person at Fred's school seems to notice or care. They all just want to party with Fred.
Oh, it was an epic fail of me not to go to Fred's.
Then at the end of it all, Judy decides she likes Fred. Why she chooses this, I do not know. But Judy, if you're listening to this, you need to run. I think Fred is trying to kill you. Oh my god, he's coming. I'm out of time. Judy, you need to run. You need to run! Airplane Mode is the most recent movie on our list, having released in 2018, and somehow it has scored lower on IMDb than Fred. This one stars Logan Paul and also a bunch of influencers that were kind of in his sphere at the time. We got Lele Pons, we got King Batch. Those are the only 2 names that I know, but there's more. This movie opens exactly as you'd expect, with Logan jerking his shit while having e-sex. That's the real opening of the movie. Also, quick nitpick immediately, that is so much lotion. I mean, I normally wouldn't comment about that kind of thing. I'm just worried his penis might drown. Anyways, like 10 people burst into his room simultaneously and tell him he needs to get outside and stop having sex with Computer Woman and have sex with real woman instead. You know that thing friends do when they walk in on you having phone sex? They just knock the penis right out of your hand and say, "Stop it! You're coming with me, and you're gonna cheat on your girlfriend right now." The place they want Logan to go to cheat on his girlfriend is Australia. And there's actually a couple reasons. It's not just so Logan can partake in an affair, it's also because there's a big convention happening here. Logan, being the stand-up guy that he is, says he won't cheat on his girlfriend, but he will go to the convention because, as it turns out, she lives in Australia, so he can just visit her. It's perfect. Just like Fred, this movie is very loud. Despite my multiple polite requests for them to stop, everyone will not stop screaming. I can't say I'm shocked that this movie relies on being loud for humor, considering we have Logan Paul and Lele Pons in the same movie. Once we get on the plane, we get introduced to a new character, Jenna, who sits next to Logan. I can already see where this is going. Jenna said she just got cheated on, she's being set up as a love interest for Logan, they're flirting a little, they're having a good time. Now, you might think this is very odd, considering we just established Logan is trying to not cheat on his girlfriend. But I know how they're gonna remedy this. You see, since Jenna just got cheated on, what if, when Logan gets to Australia, he finds that he's actually being cheated on by his girlfriend? Then they can bond over their shared trauma and have kisses. And that's what's gonna happen. That's my prediction. Also, quick side note, this movie is so horny. I don't think 5 minutes pass in this movie without someone either talking about how they want to have sex, having sex, or starting the process of having sex. I can't lift this finger very well. It doesn't work good for me. I'm keeping that in. We get introduced to the pilots, and I'm pretty sure this guy was in the Fred movie too. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. It's like a nagging itch in the back of my brain. But after 10 seconds of Googling, I couldn't figure out who it was. So if you know who that is, can you tell me? I'm just kind of curious. Anyways, the plane takes off and he's dead now. Both the pilots died instantly because no one put their phone on airplane mode, which apparently causes the plane to electrocute the pilots instantaneously. You'd think if it was that important, they'd have a little bit of stricter enforcement, but I'm just gonna assume the world of airplane mode exists in a very high-trust society, and that these hooligans have decided to betray it. Needless to say, with the pilots dead, the situation has become quite dire. Nobody else on the plane notices though. They're all too busy either having sex, being loud, or being racist. Those are pretty much the 3 jokes in this movie.
I'm just racist.
Well, one person realizes what's happening. Logan Paul, the hero of this movie. And let's just say he must have taken some lessons from Fred because he handles it really well.
The pilots are dead!
I came here and I found him like that and I was like, oh my god, what do I do?
Logan can't land this plane on his own though. He calls in his foreign exchange student brother, who takes a picture with the dead pilot and then leaves. He doesn't help at all. Crazy thing to include since this was after the whole forest situation, but no one seemed to care. Anyways, foreign exchange brother has left to go have sex with someone, so now Logan is getting help from Jenna. Honestly, I'm starting to think maybe I misread the flirting earlier, because I think Jenna might actually hate Logan.
There's a murderer on this plane and I'm gonna have to die with this loser and all of his loser friends.
But whether they love or hate each other, they're gonna have to work together to land this plane, and there's also a murderer on the loose too. Yeah, sorry, if this is starting to seem a little disjointed and all over the place, that's because the movie is disjointed and all over the place. I'm doing my best out here. A prank YouTuber who's also was like a prisoner on this flight for some reason has managed to break free, tie up the crew, throw a woman off the plane, like fully just murder her, and now he's after Logan and Jenna. The next 20 minutes of this movie are just incomprehensible. He just goes around stabbing random people. He opens a plane door again just to kill King Batch and then I guess closes it. He finds chloroform and puts it in the oxygen mask. You know that thing all planes have in case they want to just kill every single person on board, including the pilots? Classic plane things. But after floundering around, somehow Logan manages to open the plane door for the 3rd time now, sending the villain flying outside. And the day is saved. But wait, we still have to land the plane! Thank God there's this random kid with a cardboard box who can teach Logan how to drive a plane, because that's something 10-year-olds know how to do. I've completely lost track of what's happened at this point. I feel like I'm trying to describe a dream that I had. Somehow, though, Logan managed to safely land the plane, and he's finally gonna go meet up with his online girlfriend. Finally, my prediction's gonna come true. She's gonna be cheating on him, and she's gonna be a bad person. Which would justify Logan almost kissing Jenna earlier. Otherwise, that would be really weird and hard to explain. Yeah, no, that's not what happens at all. Logan decides to send his foreign exchange brother instead to meet up with his girlfriend. She either doesn't know or doesn't care, so then those two hook up and Logan goes to find Jenna. Literally nothing in the final scene of this movie makes sense. Logan somehow knows where Jenna is in her hotel room. I'm just gonna assume he like tapped her phone or something, but he goes in and then he sees something insane. In her hotel room, he sees a shirtless, ripped guy sitting on the bed and he goes, "No, they must have had sex. I gotta go now." So he turns around to leave, but then he hears it. The thoughts of the guy on the bed. Because Logan can hear the thoughts of gay people. That's been something that happens this whole movie. I haven't brought it up yet. It was the ace in the hole. So he goes, "Oh, this guy's gay. I'm gonna kick him out of the hotel room now. which he does. Jenna does not stop him at all, or even seem to notice. She's too busy talking to room service. She must be very hungry. Logan evicts the gay guy, and then he and Jenna kiss. She does not question why he's there or why he has broken into her hotel room. Also, don't think I'm gonna forget about that guy. Who the hell was that? He was just some apparently gay guy sitting on Jenna's bed for no real reason, and then Logan kicked him out and he just went, all right, see ya, I'm gonna go now. What? Was he a relative? Was he a brother? If so, why was he so okay with getting kicked out by Logan? I'm a straight guy, but I'm gonna go out here on a limb and say that it's not a common pastime in the gay community to go sit shirtless on random women's beds who you don't even know. My theory is that he was a ghost, and that's why Jenna didn't notice him and why he was okay with being evicted. He was trying to move on to the afterlife. Anyways, the rest of the movie is just gratuitous sex scenes, so let's move on to the Smosh movie. The Smosh movie is easily the best movie of the three we're gonna be talking about today, which is not saying much, but it's something. It's also the one I definitely have the most nostalgia for since I grew up watching Smosh. The movie starts out with this really weird, just ugly animated sequence introducing Ian and Anthony. I don't know if this is like a reference to something I don't get or what, but it goes on for way too long introducing Ian and Anthony as these like disgusting animated looking characters. I was very scared that the entire movie was gonna look like this, but then it just jumps to real life and introduces them again. So I'm not sure why that was there to begin with. We get reintroduced to Anthony and Ian, and we learn that Anthony is a pizza delivery driver, and Ian is a full-blown chud. He just spends his days inside leaving perverted comments on this video of a girl getting a butt massage. It's honestly a little sad to watch. I know it's a movie, and Ian and Anthony are just playing characters of themselves, but their characters are so pathetic. Neither one of them have almost any positive traits in the beginning. Anthony is completely obsessed with seeming cool to other people, and like I said, he's just a chud. There's not much else going on under the hood there. Then the inciting incident of the movie happens. Ian and Anthony learn that their high school 5-year reunion is happening, and even more importantly, Anthony's crush Anna is going to be there. That's right, this is the third movie in a row about trying to impress a girl. Anthony wants to go to this reunion and impress her, but there's a huge problem. There's this viral video that just came out of him 5 years ago falling off a stage and getting a microphone shoved up his ass. He thinks, oh my god, if Anna sees this, she's gonna know I'm a huge loser. I gotta get rid of this video. The solution to this problem? March on down to YouTube headquarters and say, YouTube, take this video down. So that's what they do. One problem, Anna was there. Anthony calls her up on stage before the whole microphone debacle happens. Whether Anna wants to or not, she is going to remember that moment for the rest of her life. Deleting this video is not gonna make her forget. Despite that incredibly large hole in their plan, they march on down to YouTube headquarters to remove that video. Also, in case you were wondering, this movie is significantly less horny than Airplane Mode, but don't you worry, it is very loud still. When they arrive at YouTube headquarters, everyone recognizes Anthony from the video, which is crazy because last time we saw it, it had 1,000 views. That's right, they're freaking out because this had 1,000 views. Anyways, they get an audience with the owner of YouTube, Steve YouTube, and in classic CEO fashion, he immediately shows them both his penis. Once he was done sexually harassing Ian and Anthony, Steve YouTube showed them a magic portal that, while it wouldn't let them delete the video, they could permanently change it. I gotta give credit where it's due. This is a slightly interesting plot device that gets in the way of impressing girl. The bar is very low so far. We have now reached the mandatory wacky hijinks section of the movie, so in classic fashion, we're gonna kind of just skip through this. It's not interesting. They go to a furry dance party. Let me look at my notes. They get attacked by a bear. They meet Jenna Marbles. Markiplier tries to kill them, until finally, they find the video that they're looking for. Anthony's performance 5 years ago. Here we see Anthony getting up on stage, ready to sing his heart out moments before disaster, and then we see something. The person who recorded this video was none other than Ian Hecox himself. Anthony is pissed. So pissed, he decides the only way to make sure he doesn't look like an idiot is to march up on that stage and beat the devil out of his younger self. That way, instead of looking stupid, he'll just have brain damage. It's genius. If the brain damage is severe enough, he won't even be capable of feeling embarrassment anymore. I don't remember why, but Ian also gets up on the stage and starts fighting his younger self, and they all fight, and somehow this plan was a complete success. Not because of the brain damage, but because the video was permanently changed. Now, instead of it being a video of Anthony humiliating himself, it's a video of what appears to be two sets of clones engaged in a battle to the death. They go back through the portal and get ready to go to their high school reunion. But something's different now. They're rich. Apparently, this video went so viral that Anthony and Ian have become mega movie stars. Even better, Ian is now dating the girl from the videos he was leaving really creepy comments on. Remember kids, if you have enough money, any type of behavior is okay. I have no idea how this one video somehow turned them into gigantic movie stars. I don't know if I'd really say Fred was the movie star of the decade, but I mean, they're rich, so it makes sense, I guess. They finally go to their 5-year high school reunion where Anthony confesses his feelings to Anna, and she rejects him. She says that she liked the old, goofy Anthony and that she feels like the money has changed him. I actually really liked this. Anthony has been just a completely status-obsessed piece of shit pretty much the entire movie. So seeing him get his comeuppance by being rejected for his insatiable greed was a nice little touch. Personally, I would have liked it if the repercussions were a little bit more severe, but you know, this is a Smosh movie. I'm not exactly going to expect them to do that. Instead, he's going to show Anna what kind of guy he really is. That's right, Anthony kills a guy, like for real, and I guess that convinces Anna that just the money really hasn't changed him. They kiss, we roll credits, and it's a good thing that they did because that is going to be an active crime scene, like really soon. There are going to be police. We have to shut down the reunion. Anthony, you just killed a guy. That's manslaughter at best. Anthony is going to prison. Anyways, that's the end of our 3 old YouTuber movies. So, how does Iron Lung stack up? Well, I've got some problems. 1, it's not about getting a girl. 2, it's not very loud. And 3, it's also not horny. So for that reason, I really can't in good faith give it anything higher than a 0 out of 10. I'm sorry, Mark. Maybe put Fred in the next one and I can up that to like a 2 or something. That's the best I can offer. All right, bye.